people into it, and then it's just perversion all up. And then little kids can't do it. Now you start experimenting with animals. Now you have stepped into a bestiality. And now you're trying to get fulfilled through an animal because human relationships can't do it. Why? Because a spirit can't be satisfied. You cannot satisfy a spirit of love. It's not about having sex. It's about that spirit that got to be cast out so you can be satisfied with one person. And a lot of people think, well, if I get married, then that'll go away. No, you got to get that dealt with before you get married, or you're going to be cheating on the person that you marry. Because marriage don't fix a lust problem. Marriage don't fix all the problems that people think marriage will fix. You got to get those passions under control before you say, I do. So we understand, yes, it may not be a spirit initially. It may just be the emotion of lust. But if I keep feeding this thing, eventually it's a spirit going to get attached to it. And then I'm going to have to get deliverance. See, you can deal with it while it's the emotion. You can have that thing bottled up. You can control that thing. But when a spirit hits you, you can't control. You'll be going out at nighttime after you're going to get some ice cream. I was watching this documentary, and there was this guy telling his wife late at night he was going to the grocery store, and what he was really doing is going to this sex place where men was going to pick up men, and he would go sleep with a man and then come back home with something like he'd been to the store. And eventually he couldn't hide it anymore. She caught him. I think she followed him, something happened, and he told her, yeah, this is who I am, and he ended up leaving her for the dude or that lifestyle. Because you can't control a spirit. You can't put a spirit on a leash like a dog and tell it where to go and where not to go. And so there are certain lines that people say they would never cross. When you have a spirit of lust, you'll cross them lines. Okay. I want you quiet. Because you know what? One of the things that Apostle Tessola said over the weekend, he said the thing that you don't deal with going to the throne, it'll kill you when you get on it. So if you don't deal with these weaknesses, why nobody knows your name in the infancy stages, when God begins to elevate you and promote you, they'll kill you. They'll destroy you.
Amen.
Are y'all with me? So we talked about that the flesh, lust is a product of the flesh. And then we talked about Romans 13 and 14. We talked about lust is provision driven. Y'all remember that? It says, make no provision for the lust of the flesh. And we talked about when we make provision, it's when we start entertaining things that we shouldn't entertain. When we start watching things that we shouldn't watch, start listening to stuff we shouldn't listen to, and we start being in the company of things we shouldn't be in the company of, that's making provision. When you make provision, it means that you supply something, right? So when you make provision for the lust, you supply lust with what it needs to keep being manifested. And we know that lust is made provision for through the five senses. Your sensory realm is what makes provision for the lust. So he told us, don't make no provision for the lust. So if I'm not going to make provision for the lust, that means I have to take myself out of environments. I have to disconnect from certain people. I have to watch what I look at on TV. I have to watch the music I listen to. Well, I just listen to gospel music. Let me tell you something. Let me help you out. There's some gospel music that'll have you feeling some kind of way. Y'all ain't going to be honest with me. There are some beats and some of that gospel stuff will have you feeling like you was in the club. You got to be careful what you're listening to. If you're listening to something and it starts to make you feel some kind of way, that's the red flag. Turn it off. I don't care who the artist is. Turn it off, because there is something attached to that beat. There's something attached to those lyrics, and it's stirring something up in my passion. I don't quite understand it, but what many times people do is they'll keep listening because, oh, it's gospel music. And you know down in the inside that this gospel music is doing something to you. Because it's just dealing with your flesh. That's why you can't just listen to gospel rap all the time. You got to listen to some worship. You got to listen to some prayer, because rap is about the beat. Many times. And we know that the beat deals with your flesh. We know rhythm deals with the flesh. We know what harmony deals with. We know what Melody deals with. So you got to make sure that you're sensitive when you start hearing this stuff and you're feeling some kind of way. You quickly check it and say, I'm not listening to that, because it's trying to release something. So make no provision for the flesh. So those were the first 2 points. That lust is a product of the flesh. Lust is provision driven. Let's get into our third point today. Third point is lust wars against the soul. Lust wars against the soul. Go to 1 Peter chapter 2. First Peter chapter 2, verse 11. And when you have it, say, I have it. Y'all should have gotten something already. I should be able to say amen, and you already got something. Have you gotten anything already? Amen. Okay. 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 11. It says, Beloved. So he's talking to the church, right? I urge you, as aliens and strangers, to abstain from fleshly lusts, which wages war against the soul. To abstain from fleshly what? Lust, which wages war against the soul. Listen to what he says in verse 12. He says, keep your behavior excellent among the Gentiles or the unsaved, so that in the thing in which they slander you as evildoers, they may, because of your good deeds, as they observe them, glorify God in the day of visitation. Even though they don't like you and they're trying to say stuff about you, if you keep your behavior right, they won't have anything to say about you and they'll end up glorifying God. But he said that lust, he said to abstain from the lust that basically wages war against your soul. Amen. Now let's deal with the soul. We know that man is a tripartite. He's 3 parts. He's a spirit, he has a soul, and he lives in the body, right? We know that the spirit of man is the part of man that is like who? Like God. It is the God part of man. And we know that the soul comprises of your mind, your will, your emotion. Your knower, your toucher, and your sensor. Your mind, your will, your emotion. So he said that lust wars against the soul. It wages war against the soul. So I would think that my soul is the one that is responsible for my lust. Yes. I would think that my thinking is the part of me that is responsible for the lust. But he said that lust wages war against your soul. So lust comes against your thinking process. Yes. Y'all please follow me. Yes. Because lust is a byproduct of the flesh. Lust is in the flesh. It's not necessarily in your mind. It's in you. Your flesh just naturally should be attracted to certain things. And should naturally not be attracted to certain things, right? So he said that lust wages war against my soul. So my desires, when uncapped and not dealt with, begins to war against my thinking. It's not the thinking that makes your body crazy. It's the body that makes your thinking crazy. Because some people think with the wrong part of their body. That's all I'm going to say with that. So he said that lust wages war against my soul. So lust will begin to determine how I think. Lust will have your mind messed up. I have met some people that had such a lust grip on them, they can't even talk to you. You talking and they looking around and they like, good, and you're like, man, did you hear what I'm saying? Why? Because lust has no longer just been in them. Now it's beginning to war against their soul. So it's really driving them crazy. People do some crazy stuff for lust. People kill you. Y'all see we got this beautiful school teacher that's been missing for about a month, and I don't believe it's going to turn out good. And we got this boyfriend that was all the way up there in Chicago running. Why are you running? Well, what happened? His lust messed with his mind. I don't know if she broke it off, what happened, but the lust began to war against his mind, and he snapped and he killed her. See, people don't just snap. He hadn't snapped when they met. So evidently his passions